Hey everybody, it's Michael. Welcome back to a little bit more Demon Souls today with the remake on the PlayStation 5, and today we're going to be taking down the Fool's Idol boss fight, and this takes place in Archstone 3-1, the Prison of Hope. And I did get lost in this area for a while, so unfortunately I won't have the video be about how to navigate this place. It did take me a while to find my way through and find all the keys to unlock the doors to make my way to this boss fight, so instead this video will be entirely focused on the boss itself. So here we see these H.P. Lovecraft octopus looking guys, and very interesting looking enemies here, and I found it easiest to just take these guys out with a compound bow. I did upgrade my bow to like +3 or +4, so it's really strong at this point, because if you do get close and try to take these guys on with melee, they will just knock you out with some really strong attacks, so it's best to just go forward and use the bow and arrow on these guys. A few quick shots to the head definitely does the trick and makes your life a lot easier for this little section. And I think these guys are actually called Cthulhu's or something like that, originating in H.P. Lovecraft's work, so really interesting that they found their way to Demon Souls. And they kind of freeze you in place, which, to be honest, is kind of a little sign of what's to come with the boss fight, the Fool's Idol coming up. They do definitely have some similar attacks, which is interesting. And I have to say, I really loved the prison, just the atmosphere in this level, just really scary and cool, just navigating your way through this abandoned prison, just in a really cool part of what I assume to be Boletaria. And really you just want to head all the way down these steps once you do unlock all the doors, and just keep heading down because the boss fight is going to be on the lower level outside. And here you just see these staircases, just head all the way down. See some little spot of ominous blood there. For anyone new to the channel, welcome. I did cover a few previous boss fights up until this point with the Armored Spider, the Flame Lurker, and then also the Adjudicator. And now we're here in 3-1. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully these videos have helped you guys out, or will begin to help you guys out with some of the bosses in Demon Souls Remake. Some of them are definitely a little bit tricky. And while I do have plans to continue to focus on Demon Souls in my playthrough and give some boss guides this month, I also want to let you guys know that I have plans to cover a lot of PlayStation 5 games this year. I'm really excited for Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and I'm excited to jump back into Last of Us Part 2 once that PS5 patch is ready. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of gameplay from that game ready to go, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that, in addition to what we've seen so far with the Demon Souls remake, and a couple of videos I also did in addition to Demon Souls so far, like the Assassin's Creed Valhalla video review I did, and then also the Spider-Man Miles Morales PS5 video review I did if you guys want to check it out. So we're heading up this staircase now, and this actually took me forever to figure out. I had to look this up because this is my first time through this game, and I didn't know that you had to do this, but there's this guy at the end of the top of this kind of walkway here over this awning in the prison that essentially controls the Fool's Idol boss fight, and even if you defeat the Fool's Idol boss, she'll basically just come back to life because this guy up here is kind of commanding her like a little puppet. It's really interesting. So you do got to take this guy out, and I've already killed him, but he's located right there. He's sitting on the bench, and there's a yellow sign in front of him, so before you take on the boss, just make sure you come up here and take that guy out. Otherwise, the Fool's Idol will keep respawning, and you'll wonder why you can't just really vanquish her. And these prison castle spires here are so beautiful. It actually reminds me of a church in Barcelona, Spain I've seen called the Sagrada Familia. I've seen some images of that, and it definitely reminds me of that. This kind of gothic vibe, really interesting. It kind of combines the church with the prison, and you'll see soon here with the Fool's Idol what I mean. So you just want to make your way and roll down the staircase, just go around and down, and we're going to head to the church up in the distance, and this is where the next boss fight will take place. In terms of difficulty, I would say the Fool's Idol is probably one of the easier bosses in the game I've faced so far, especially once you know that you just have to take that guy with the commanding puppet-like behavior out before you take the boss on. You just want to head toward this church, and up behind the fog gate you'll find the Fool's Idol, and I'll give you guys what I thought was a pretty good strategy to take her down. And again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record in all these videos, but just make sure you have plenty of grass because you will get hit a fair amount in this fight. So here we just get some incredible cutscene work done by Bluepoint to just remaster this game, and we see the Fool's Idol actually descend in this church. So I'll let you guys just enjoy this cutscene for a little bit and just take in how interesting and kind of scary this Fool's Idol boss actually looks. Just really powerful and incredible music as she comes down with the Bible. Really interesting. So guys, what you're going to want to do first is just hack away at these smaller guys. They can barely hurt you, although I should take that back. If you do let them attack you, they can poison you, which is annoying. You'll have to make sure you have some of that Noble's Lotus, I think the item is, to cure the poisoning, so just make sure you don't get hit. And also you'll notice I'm rolling into all these chairs, which I think is a good strategy, and you'll see why in a little bit. You just want to make sure you have the whole arena and the whole church open to you for the fight. It just makes things a little bit easier. So just clear these guys out, and the Fool's Idol, of course, is up in the back by the altar. So these last couple guys, I actually took them out with bow and arrow just to stay away from her. Obviously, you don't have to. You can just as easily run up and take them out. But for me, I just wanted to stay out of her way for the moment and just pop these guys real quick before we begin the major portion of the boss fight. Like you just saw there, you'll definitely see that she has a really powerful ranged attack where she can launch these blue balls of light at you, kind of like the Tower Knight did actually earlier in the game. And also, she freezes you in place like the H.P. Lovecraft octopus Cthulhu's by basically placing these green spells on the floor, and you have to remember where she places them, because if you walk into them you can get stunned and stuck, and that's when she'll really go to work on you and launch a lot of the attacks. So once you clear out the mini guys, just hack away right at the altar, and eventually she will disperse and start launching these green spells all across the floor on the church. So at this point in the fight, she actually splits into 3 separate Fool's Idol characters, and 2 of them are decoys and 1 is the same one. And at the end of the fight, there might actually be 4 of them if I remember correctly. So you'll see there, I tried to hit and it didn't do any damage, so that was a decoy, that wasn't the actual one. So we'll try this one now, and this is the real Fool's Idol. So whenever you see that the damage starts being depleted, you know you have the right one, and just keep attacking. And there you'll see me get stuck in the spell again. I wasn't paying attention and forgot that that was one of the spots they placed it in, and you really just want to roll and evade those blue balls of light while just trying each character out and seeing if it is in fact the legitimate Fool's Idol. And once you realize it is, you can just do a lot of damage. And I found it was most effective to stay in the perimeter, just stay kind of behind the main columns. I just found it was most effective that way, and you could avoid most of the spells, as most of the green spells that trap you are in the middle, you'll notice. And just pay attention when the spells drop so that you know where they are, and you can remember to just know their spots so that you can evade them. It just makes things a little bit more easy. And you definitely want to have all that grass, like I mentioned, just to heal up behind these columns, because it does do a lot of damage that way. And again, it is kind of difficult to see where the green spells will land, so you do just have to pay attention to the floor. And again, just by staying to the perimeter, you can avoid most of the spells and just find the right time to strike and find the correct version of the Fool's Idol. And I have to say, I think World 3, Hearthstone 3, might be my favorite in the game. I've only spent a little bit of time in Hearthstone 5, but I think 3 might be my favorite. I love the Gothic architecture and the churches, and the prison was so crazy. The Prison of Hope, I believe it was called. Just really interesting atmosphere in the Demon Souls remake, Hearthstone 3. Whenever you find that you're not doing any damage to one of the decoys, you just want to get out of there as soon as possible. Just wrap around the columns, and they're really just going to spam these blue balls of light at you, kind of like the Tower Knight did with his staff. So just want to find the right one. Again, that wasn't the right one either, and I think at the end it's a little bit of a cluster here, but we do find the correct one. Deplete her bar a little bit, getting really close to the end here, guys. Hopefully this strategy is working for you. And while I did really like the location and atmosphere of this boss fight, I did think fighting the Fool's Idol was a little bit annoying, just by getting caught in the green spells and getting that blue light spammed at you. But like I said, as long as you have enough grass, you should be fine. It's just a little bit of a tedious fight because she does also split up, and it's a little bit annoying trying to find the right one. And I was so frustrated at first before I realized you have to kill that puppet master, that guy up above that's controlling her and kind of manipulating her. But once you do kill him, the rest of the fight becomes a breeze, and the first time you vanquish her, she'll be vanquished for good. And here we just have one more hit, just got to find the right version of her to wrap this boss fight up and be able to move on throughout the game. So just one more hit. And it does get annoying in the last stages, because I think there are 4 of them, 3 decoys, and they just spam at you. But here we go, I think this final one's right over here. We can just wrap this boss fight up. Roll on over. One more annoying spell, 2 more annoying spells. Hopefully this is the correct one. And we got her, guys. Congratulations, we vanquished the Fool's Idol. Hopefully you guys were able to do the same after my little guide I put together here. Thanks so much for checking the video out. And keep in mind, I do have guides up for quite a few other Demon Souls bosses as well on the PlayStation 5 on my channel. Please leave a thumbs up and subscribe if this was helpful to you for much more PlayStation 5 content coming soon. I do plan on releasing more Demon Souls Remake boss guides in addition to some more PlayStation games coming to you all very, very soon. And as you watch these gargoyles carry me away, remember I also do a single-player focused video game podcast called The Sunset Single Player that I linked in the description of the video today that goes live each and every Tuesday if you'd like to check it out. But until the next video, guys, thanks so much and take care.